play a game?
Oh.
I think I missed him.
Yeah, weird, isn't it?
Yeah.
Love to. How about global thermonuclear war?
Wouldn't you prefer a good game of chess?
Later, let's play global thermonuclear war.
Fine.
All right.
Welcome back to In Pursuit of Truth. This is your host, Sir Patrick Mack. We've got 3 new Q posts, and you know what? I'm going to read them. I'm going to read them first, and then I'll do my analysis after that. We'll talk about it a little bit. If you want to skip right to that, you can go right down below to the video description, and you can hit that timestamp, and guess what will happen? You will virtually travel forward minutes in time. Here we go. 17 minutes after the hour of 9 p.m. This is post 1292 responding to an Anon who says, increased chatter regarding Mueller. Are you confused? Attempts to contact have failed. Can you trust? Your move. 11-9 Bravo Delta-23. Q responds, shall we play a game? Can you trust? You know that we know. You know what we have. Your move. Q. Post 1293 at 19 minutes after the hour of 9 p.m. Q adds on to that saying, noted, IP-ghost Q. 52 minutes after the hour of 9, Q is responding to an Anon who posts this picture, which looks like a picture of General Flynn and a meme that says Q sent us. The Anon says, we are not alone. I drove 3 hours with my wife's ex, but that's a whole nother story. We walked over a mile, stood outside, wind chill of 36 degrees for 3 hours to support POTUS in Washington, Michigan. There were between 10 to 15,000 patriots standing outside watching POTUS on a Jumbotron. There were shouts of Q Army, who's Q, and release the text. If you think your efforts are not making a difference, my experience tonight says otherwise. Anons and autists, your efforts are more important than you will ever know. So from someone who does not have your skill set, from one patriot to another, thank you for your service. Where we go one, we go all. Q responds, Godspeed, patriots. Stay strong, stay united. Boom, week ahead. Q. Okay, let's take you back to this first post, 17 minutes past the hour of 9 p.m. This is post 1292, and this is a response to an Anon who says, increased chatter regarding Mueller. Are you confused? Attempts to contact have failed. Can you trust? Your move, 11-9 Bravo Delta-23. And then Q responds, shall we play a game? Yes, we shall. Q, you had me at shall we? Let's play. Can you trust? You know that we know. You know what we have. Your move. Okay. It seems to me, folks, to be honest with you, that Q is keeping it short and sweet today. Whoever posted this, I don't necessarily know if they were meaning to confuse people or if they were speaking to someone else, or I'm not sure. And it seems to me that Q is not speaking to us. Q is speaking to this anonymous user right here. Now, I've heard a little bit of chatter on the internet regarding some ideas that there were people that thought that this might be Brennan here. Now, I don't know. Who knows? There's some theories about the code as well, too. I haven't seen anything concrete yet, so I'm not willing to stick that in your head without, knowing. So go fish if you want. But I'm assuming this conversation wasn't really meant so much for us. And this is why I think this. Q adds on at 19 minutes past the hour of 9 p.m. Noted IP ghost. Now, I suppose they could be referring to something regarding Snowden, maybe that Tor address that he had with John Perry Barlow. I honestly, I think that's digging too deep. I simply think that Q is noting that this code right here is is ghosting from an IP, basically posting from an IP that is not theirs. And let me show you what I mean. We'll go to this code right here where I'm hovering my little mouse here. And it takes you straight to the HN board. Most of you, of course, know what the HN board is. For those of you, that are new to the Q phenomena, this is another place where you can read Q, okay? And you can always get there from here. And it usually takes you to the direct post. Now, when you go to this one and you click, nothing, right? Okay. So I think that kind of confirms it. And I think Q is just saying that it's a ghost IP. And then there's only one more post right here. 52 minutes past the hour of 9. And responding to this Anon Who takes a picture from the rally? We are not alone. I drove 3 hours with my wife's ex, but that's a whole nother story. We walked over a mile, stood outside, wind chill of 36 degrees for 3 hours to support POTUS in Washington, Michigan. There were between 10 to 15,000 patriots standing outside watching POTUS on a jumbotron. There were shouts of Q Army, who's Q, and release the text. If you think your efforts are not making a difference, my experience tonight says otherwise. Anons and autists, your efforts are more important than you will ever know. So from someone who does not have your skill set, from one patriot to another, thank you for your service. Where we go one, we go all. Indeed, and thank you, Anon. Thank you for the picture, and thanks to all of you who went to that rally and stood out there in the cold to show your love for the President of our United States of America. And Q responds, Godspeed, patriots. Stay strong. Stay united. Boom. Week ahead, Q. Okay, those are your Q posts. That's all I have for you today. Now, for some of you who may be new to Q, I just want to turn you on to an idea, because sometimes I think it's very fun to find these clues for yourself. If you do have this board, and I want to reference you to what Q says to this Anon. Shall we play a game? Most of you who have been following Q already know what this is in reference to. And of course, I want you to take your 8-track out, pop it in, put on your Loverboy t-shirt, and go back to 1983 for me, the movie War Games, 1983 American Cold War science fiction film. Now, real quickly, if you'd like, let me just read some of this plot for you. During a surprise drill of a nuclear attack, many United States Air Force strategic missile wing controllers prove unwilling to turn the key required to launch a missile strike. Such refusals convinced John McKittrick and other systems engineers at NORAD that missile launch control centers must be automated without human intervention. Control is given to NORAD's supercomputer, War Operation Plan Response, WOPR, programmed to continuously run war simulations and learn over time. David Lightman, a bright but unmotivated Seattle high school student and hacker, uses his computer to break into the school district computer system and change his grades. He does the same for his friend and classmate Jennifer Mack. Later, while war dialing numbers, because that's what we all do in Sunnyvale, California, to find a computer game company, he connects with a system that does not identify itself. Asking for games, he finds a list that starts with chess, checkers, backgammon, and poker, as well as titles like theater-wide biotoxic and chemical warfare and global thermonuclear war, but cannot proceed further. Two hacker friends explain the concept of a backdoor password and suggest tracking down the Falcon referenced in Falcon's Maze, the first game listed. All right, so he gets himself in all this trouble, right? And he starts playing with this computer. David does not know that the Sunnyvale phone number connects to WOPR at the Cheyenne Mountain Complex. He starts a game of global thermonuclear war. Oops! Playing as the Soviet Union. The computer starts a simulation that briefly convinces the military personnel at NORAD that actual Soviet nuclear missiles are inbound. While they defuse the situation, WOPR nonetheless continues the simulation to trigger the scenario and win the game, as it does not understand the difference between reality and simulation. It continuously feeds false data such as Soviet bomber incursions and submarine deployments to NORAD, pushing them into raising the DEFCON level and toward a retaliation that will start World War III. Doesn't that sound oddly familiar? David learns the true nature of his actions from a news broadcast, and FBI agents arrest him and take him to NORAD. He realizes that WOPR is behind the NORAD alerts, but because he fails to convince McKittrick, he faces espionage charges. David escapes NORAD by joining a tourist group, because that's what you do when you want to escape NORAD. Throw on a hat and get on a bus. With Jennifer's help, travels to the Oregon island where Falcon lives. David and Jennifer find that Falcon has become despondent and believes that nuclear war is inevitable, that it is as futile as a game of tic-tac-toe between two inexperienced players. The teenagers convince Falcon that he should return to NORAD and stop WOPR. The computer stages a massive Soviet first strike with hundreds of missiles, submarines, and bombers. Believing the attack to be genuine, NORAD prepares to retaliate. Falcon, Dave, David and Jennifer convince military officials to cancel the second strike and ride out the attack. WOPR tries to launch the missile itself, however, using a brute force attack to obtain the launch code. Without humans in the control centers as a safeguard, the computer will trigger a mass launch. All attempts to log in and order Joshua to cancel the countdown fail, and all weapons will launch if the computer is disabled. David, what are you gonna do? Falcon and David direct the computer to play tic-tac-toe against itself. That sounds like a good idea. This results in a long string of draws, forcing the computer to learn the concept of futility and no-win scenarios. I think you probably could have found easier ways. WOPR obtains the missile code, but before launching, it cycles through all the nuclear war scenarios it has devised, finding they too all result in stalemates. Having discovered the concept of mutual assured destruction, winner none, the computer tells Falcon that it has concluded that nuclear war is a strange game in which the only winning move is not to play. WOPR relinquishes control of NORAD and the missiles and offers to play a nice game of chess. There you go. So that is the reference there for some of you who are new to that. And if you just type in chess here, and I always leave this qanon.pub, I always leave this for you below, but you will see tons of references. And I'm not going to go way into it, but you'll see it, some of them come back here. On December 14th, we see how about a nice game of chess? How about a nice game of chess? Referenced again here on December 18th. Okay. And then this is when we saw the Iron Eagle reference here as well. We saw it again here on January 13th. How about a nice game of chess? Specifically here on the 19th, Q references war games, double meaning, fake incoming missile alert. Remember, this was the Hawaii DEF CON. Okay, and then from there on, Q encourages us to learn chess. So evidently Q is speaking to this Anon regarding chess, and hopefully that'll give you a better idea. I'll let you do your own research with that, but I would really encourage you to spend this morning with, sorry, not from CNN today, with our president. This is from the Times of Oman. It's just a couple minute clip. I'm going to leave you out. Excuse me. I'm going to leave you out on this because I think you should spend your morning coffee with President Trump today. It's a great rally speech and it feels good. And I think after the last couple days, I think we all need to feel good. So let me just leave you with this clip here. As always, if you like this video, please click like, share, and subscribe. And if you are subscribed, you're not getting notifications, please keep checking back and keep ringing that bell. It helps all the algorithms, and I really appreciate it. And as always, please share this message with as many people as you can. Thank you so much for supporting me. We just reached, blew by actually 5,000 subscribers. Been very overwhelmed at so much of the positive comments and all the helpful stuff. Before I go, incidentally, before I forget, a couple quick corrections. BS was not what I thought it was, but it's Bernie Sanders. Okay, so hopefully that'll clear up if you watched last video. Thanks to the guys who made the clarification on that. BS is Bernie Sanders. Well, I was close, right? I was close. Anyway, here you go. Have a great day. This is Sir Patrick Mack. Until next time, stay safe, stay sane, stay loving.
You know, you may have heard I was invited to another event tonight, the White House Correspondents' Dinner. But I'd much rather be in Washington, Michigan than in Washington, D.C. right now. That I can tell you. You know what? He's been a great help on the border with North Korea, and a lot of good things are happening there. A lot of good things. I'm not going to give you what's going to actually happen, because we don't really know. But I'll tell you one thing, we're not playing games, and I remember, you know, it was very rough 3-4 months ago. That's very nice, thank you. That's very nice. No bell. I just want to get the job done. So, if we would have... So we're going to have, hopefully, a very successful negotiation over the next 3 or 4 weeks. And we'll be doing the world a big favor. We'll be doing the world a big favor. Let's see how it goes. I think we'll do fine. I think we're going to do just fine. One of the fake news groups this morning. Now, they were saying, what do you think President Trump had to do with it? I'll tell you what. Like, how about everything?